Okay. All right. Hey, welcome to the Side Action, episode 13 of season 6. My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me at Wegspool on Twitter and on Instagram.
And I'm Dalton, aka Coop. You can check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Dalton Cooper on Instagram, at Mr. Grumpy Gills on Twitter. Unfortunately, we are not live from the Edgebrook studios together, but the holidays, you know how that goes. So
Yeah, so where are you? Is this mom's house, dad's house? Where are you right now?
yeah, we're at mom's. They left. They're out. They're starting without us, unfortunately. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to go join and be merry. But we're here to talk about football, the important things, not the family, not the thankfulness. We're here to talk about football.
I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Everybody's wondering why you're wearing a Barstool hat instead of a Side Action hat. But you know what?
Well, I'm hoping if I can show like our marketing team that this is something that we should maybe look into.
Yeah, my nephew did great job for marketing for like about 6 months, and then he got disinterested. But we'll pick it back up. So how was your weekend? You had the Friendsgiving. You had you guys obviously didn't roll. Did you roll last night, or that was just canceled this week?
No, we didn't do last night. That was Saturday night. Yeah, and I after Hamlin and eating, I literally went to bed because I actually played golf Sunday morning. I got invited.
Oh yeah, how was the tournament?
Yeah, it's not too bad. Your boy didn't play very well on the front nine. It's been a minute since I played outside, and that didn't work out. But I did hole out on hole number 9 from like 130 yards out and got a birdie that way. So that won me $90 on the skins. So
that's a tough hole too. I've played there. There's kind of some trees and stuff. That's nice. Good job. Nice work.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. The back nine played much better. I think I was only 2 over on the back. I think I was 9 over on the front, and I was 2 over on the back. So. Yeah, not too bad. Their Friendsgiving was fun. I'm trying to think of. It feels like all my days have ran together here recently.
I don't understand. The only pictures I saw from Friendsgiving were with women. What's the deal? Did they not let the guys take the picture?
I don't know. I got there late. I got there like 3:00 after golfing, so I didn't know. Honestly, I got there at the perfect time where like everybody had already eaten, so everybody was kind of out of the way. So I could just kind of go right in, get the food, be merry. Yeah, sit down. If anybody wants to chat, I'm gonna sit here and eat. So from that standpoint, it was perfect. I couldn't have planned it any better, honestly. But no, I don't know. I think they took pictures probably before I got there, I would assume. So there's probably about 30 of us, I'd say.
I will tell you, I don't know if we communicated, drove to Kansas City, as I mentioned last week. That was perhaps an ill-advised decision. It was a fun time until it wasn't. So I ended up getting this disco outfit. I don't know, when did we talk? We talked, I guess I did that on Wednesday maybe. But yeah, so I got my disco outfit for this place called Funky Town in Kansas City. It's pretty fun. It's the whole disco action. You might have seen the Instagram stuff. They had a car wash thing when the song Car Wash came on. And the bubbles were going, and they had a cube. You got Jimmy Wegs up on the cube doing his little thing. He thinks that I had these shoes. I could really slide on those things like James Brown. So I was doing my best. That was a fun night. Very fun night. Went to bed at 3, got up too early. A whole day, the whole group was like arguing the whole day. I wasn't even part of the arguments. I'm like, what's going on? I'm just going to take a nap. And then we finally got out again Saturday night, and I got to ride a mechanical bull. Did you see that one?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I saw the Instagram story on that one. How'd that go?
It was fun. I wasn't too bad at it. I was pretty good at it. The girl took my video, did a slow-mo. I wish it was regular speed, because when they started spinning me around, because it was like, they couldn't get me off the regular, I can ride that pony. But then when they just spun me around 4 or 5 times real fast, and then they did it, and boom, I was off in like a second. So I think I lasted about 45, 50 seconds, not bad.
Hey, not bad, for me, I'm seeing turn 5-0 here shortly. So
exactly, it was for me. And when I got up, I had to fall over again. I was too dizzy, but it was fun. That night kind of ended a little strangely. Went to bed kind of early. Needed to drive in the morning. Thought, hey, okay, gonna get out of here at 9:30, 10. Went down to the car. Somebody broke my window, Coop. Somebody broke into the car. Oh yeah, smashed the window. The glass is all over the place. They rifled through my console. And Luke and Jane saw the picture. They were like, "What's with all the Dunkin' Donut wrappers?" I keep napkins in the console just in case. You never know, right?
Yeah, never know. Got to blow your nose or something. Yeah.
They pulled all that stuff out. Didn't steal anything. They didn't steal the car. Nothing. I mean, that's I wanted to be stolen, but they just broke the stupid window. So I had to drive the whole way home.
What if the car
525 miles without a window, Coop. I'm not joking. My face was like I went to a Bears game at a tailgate. My face was
They
bright
turned the
red.
heat on in the car.
You had the heat on, but you can't stop that
Well, you
wind.
put it on you gotta put it on the feet, man. That way it like comes up, at least rides up your leg a little bit. It'll keep you warm. See, just
That I did that. And luckily, it was more like around 60, 55 most of the way, 48. But I'm telling you, bro, 8 + 8 hours driving around. So the
that's tough.
car's in the shop. I've got a rental. I'm not gonna, and so basically the price of a plane ticket, because everybody's going to see Kansas City and play the Eagles, would have been about $800. It's gonna cost me that on the damage. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That's tough, man. Insurance didn't help you out or nothing, eh? They told you to fly.
Well, I have a deductible, $500 deductible, which
damn, that's tough. This is Kansas
and then
City.
they're supposed to cover the rental, and it's like $20 a day. I'm like, are you serious? That's not covering the rental. It's like whatever, dude. Anyway,
man,
so
man, that's Kansas City, home of the car break-in, apparently.
yeah, this loft kind of weird area, very industrial. I can see where it's a little sketch, but mine was the only car with the window broken. Like, couldn't you break the other car so I could feel better? But whatever, man.
And
anyway.
just you drive the Rolls Royce, right? For the folks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, it made sense on why they broke that window out. I mean,
Ford Fusion, hybrid. That's the rich people. They drive those things. They're discontinued.
Hey, the hybrid though. Come on.
Oh, hybrid. Yeah. If they stole the hybrid motor, I would have felt better. But anyway. All right. Well, let's go to the shed of the week. Besides the Kansas City, car breaking guy.
Kansas City mayhem is what we'll call it.
Yeah, I will put our first person in the shed, and that is your favorite coach, Brandon Staley of your Los Angeles Chargers. I'm still surprised the guy still has a job. Little foreshadowing, we did pick this team to win this game and cover, which they didn't. But more importantly, I don't care if they win or lost the game. That's just a pick. But after the game, did you hear how he was like snapping at the press when they were asking about if he's going to keep calling defensive plays? And he's like, I'm going to keep talking defensive plays. He's all pissed off. Like, this guy's ruining his career. Like, be a professional. Chill that fuck out. I'm sorry, radio listeners, but like, give me a break. Fire this dude. This guy's making your organization look bad. And I guess they just don't care. The Spanos just don't care.
No, well, I wish I had the confidence in myself that Brandon Staley has in himself. That's all I gotta say. Because he has more belief in himself than anybody on the planet. So maybe Mama Staley is gassing him up, on the side or whatever. So
that's right.
No, that's a good pick. Rex Ryan, I think. Was it Rex Ryan that was on ESPN? Was like, this guy should be coaching in Division III football. He should not be in the NFL or something like that. So yeah, they definitely beat you to that. I only had 3 this week. It's kind of a short week.
Yeah,
it's been a quick week. I'm telling you, my days are running together. But I don't know if you remember the F1 race happened last weekend. I don't know if you saw the first practice session on Thursday night, but they had it only lasted 8 minutes. So it was like 8.5 minutes. So I'm going to take Las Vegas. I'm going to take the F1 circuit race to the shed on the fact that they couldn't even have the track ready. They literally had a manhole cover that was lifted. So apparently they bolt all of these down before they do these street circuit races all over the country, whatever, all over the globe. And I guess during practice, one of them had like literally come up through the downforce of the car, which is just, that science is amazing, first of all. But exactly. So that delayed, they literally shut down the practice, all that. So it was a nightmare. But I did look at some of the stats. Over 300,000 people did attend for the weekend. It was 315,000 and change, I think was the exact number. They had an estimated $1.2 billion worth of revenue generated for the city of Las Vegas. So you can expect a new casino here shortly, I'm sure. So
I heard the dealers made something like $700,000 in tips or something on the weekend.
That's wild. Good for them though, right? Yeah. I mean, heck yeah. So and then the next, I don't know if you saw this too. I did see this the other day. So I put the PR teams for Major League Baseball in the shed this week.
Okay.
So Shohei Ohtani came out and said that if any of his meetings were made public or I guess whatever were brought to the media or whatever, that he would use that as like leverage against the team. So it's not going to be in the best interest. So good luck in today's age keeping all that a secret. That's all I got to say. I don't know if that's a cultural thing. I wish him the best of luck. Obviously, he's entitled to his privacy, but yeah, good luck with the MLB PR teams this week and moving forward. So I'm going to take them to the shed. And then the last person, good old Jim Irsay. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Quote, I am prejudiced against because I am a rich white billionaire. And he did a those comments were coming from a traffic stop that he had back in 2014 that he literally just did an interview in like yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
And he was that's literally what he cited word for word. So he got pulled over for a DUI or driving while intoxicated, basically. And he was basically saying he was prejudiced because he's a rich white billionaire. So
Well, we
shout
know
out to
that's
Jim
true.
Irsay. Yeah, he shows the human value that he is. He won't pay Jonathan Taylor. He wants to save the whale over paying his own employees.
He's
So
crazy. He's a crazy man.
just goes to show that sometimes NFL owners kind of show like they're in touch with reality, and then you just have Jim Irsay who is just not in touch with reality whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So that's why I took to the shed this week.
That's a good shed group. So how about Club Dub? I know that he's been in. I think he was in the shed maybe a week or two ago. But I'm putting him. I'm putting him in Club Dub for at least 1 week. Your guy Tommy DeVito finally gets his first career start win, and he lives with his mom. We all know this. He was sacked 9 times in this game against Washington, but he played decent. 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. They got the win, and I mean, I know Sam Howell might be leading the league in yardage, but he's also leading quarterbacks in turnovers right now. But yeah, Tommy DeVito, come on in. We'll put you in for 1 week only. Come on into the Club Dub.
Nice, heck yeah, yeah. No, we gotta you gotta be like a Tommy DeVito. Yeah, DeVito. No, it's probably gonna be short lived. So we'll have to check on security.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got New England. I'm sure Belichick will have something.
That's fair enough. I'm gonna put the Argentinian national team, the men's national soccer team. They defeated Brazil Tuesday night. And it was actually the loss for Brazil was Brazil's first ever loss at home during World Cup qualifiers, which go all the way back to the 1940s. So pretty impressive. They beat them 1-0. Obviously, the soccer's most favorite score ever. So shout out to Argentina. And then also I'm going to put the Broncos in Club Dub. So they beat the Vikings. Yeah, we took them to the shed about a month ago, and here we are. Just how it's crazy how time is this big flat circle that we live in. So, they've won 4 in a row. They are 1 game out of the playoffs. They beat the Vikings and the Bills the last 2 weeks. Those are both playoff contending teams. So,
Kansas City the week before that.
Yeah, the week before that, and obviously they had the bye. So Russ is turning it around. He's looking more, maybe not necessarily like all the way like the Russ of old, but he's definitely looking better than last year. And I think it's really going to show the deficit of Nathaniel Hackett because you're seeing how awful the Jets offense looks right now without Aaron Rodgers. So. That's who's in Club Dub this week. I only had a couple.
Wow,
per your request. I know, per your request.
Well, I mean, it's getting pretty crowded over here in Club Dub. I really go in. I have to put my party at a different venue. There's not enough place for bodies here. So I'm just telling you.
We're going to need more wall space for photos.
That's right. Okay, so going into college, you obviously did well again. Congratulations. 19-4-1 on the year. I mean, how much money have you made in this thing? Like, are you a millionaire? Are you Jim Irsay now?
No, God. Well, I think Jim Irsay is a billionaire even. So
okay, well,
I wish I had Jim Irsay money.
Yeah, you're on your way.
No, we're up. What was it? I did it the other day. I think it was like 28 units or 29 units, one or the other, or something along those lines. So it's been an okay year. Yeah, I've never done this for college. It's my first year, so I should just quit after this year. I'm never going to do this again. I'm going to retire with whatever winning percentage that comes out.
Write a book about it.
Yeah, My Time on the Side Action Podcast by Dalton Cooper. So, no, perfect. So our
this week, right?
Yeah, there's only a couple big college games. I mean, there's rivalry week, obviously, like for ranked matchups. Sorry, I'm pulling up the wrong one here. Oh, gotcha. Here we go. So we have Ohio State and Michigan. Obviously, is the game on Saturday, and then Friday night we have Oregon and Oregon State. That's obviously basically. I think the winner that goes to the Pac-12 is already locked up. I think the winner of that one. I think if Oregon State beats Oregon, they go to the Pac-12 championship. Obviously, I think Oregon is in if they win automatically. So,
yeah, because Washington beat Oregon State, but
yeah,
they're
I think the tiebreakers work out in Oregon State's favor at that point.
Okay.
So that should be a big game. I think it's not one of my 2 picks, but I think Oregon might unfortunately take severe advantage of Oregon State. So if this game was flipped at night, maybe in Oregon State, we'd say, but oh well. So this week we're going first week we're going with Michigan. We're going to ride with Michigan. They're -3. It's America's team. We're gonna go ahead and keep riding America's team. Yeah, they are Michigan against the world. I think their the line of scrimmage is going to be the big difference in this game.
Yeah.
Ohio State's defense has been better. I mean, they've kind of geared up their whole defense to basically stop Michigan's, physicality in their run game. And all Michigan's done the last 2 weeks is run the ball. So it's like they're gearing up to just go run it down their throat. So I think that's going to work out in Michigan's favor, obviously being at home too. And then we're going to ride with LSU. They're minus 11.5. They're at Texas A&M. This is kind of Jaden Daniels' last chance to take the Heisman. He's already kind of had a couple good games. I think one more good game will really springboard him, I think, probably into the Heisman, if not, at least in the conversation, since he probably won't be playing in a conference championship game. So he's going to have something to have everybody keep talking about him. So we're going to ride LSU, and I think they're going to really utilize him this week.
Okay. So for the Michigan game, just go back on that one. You don't feel like their strength of schedule matters. They've played nobody so far really besides Penn State, who isn't that good anyway. You just feel, hey, at home, and they have beaten Ohio State 2 in a row. So Ryan Day, I mean, I think it's mostly the quarterback, right? The Ohio State quarterback sucks, basically.
Yeah, Kyle McCord's definitely not JJ McCarthy, but this is a different game, obviously. I mean, these two schools hate each other more than anything. So I think just asserting the dominance, and I think Michigan has something to prove with not having Harbaugh there. Yeah. That if they could still dominate Ohio State, then they can never use the cheating thing against them because they took their head coach away. So what are you going to say now? So exactly. I definitely think they have a point to prove. I think that this game was at the shoe. I think this would be a giant shit show for Michigan. I mean, they're one of the oldest teams in the country too. So sure. I think that really helps in their favor as well.
Okay, nice. All right, well, let's talk about the NFL. Recap Week 11 first. First of all, it was a very weird week when you look at the splits, Coop. Yeah. 11-3 home teams won this past week. 11 out of 14. That's insane. That's just crazy. But with that, you would think, well, usually the home team's probably favored, right? You would think. But the Dogs kicked ass, 10-4. The Dogs won this week, and a lot of unders, 10-4. But the reason why the Dogs came through is because, yes, maybe the home team was favored, and of course they didn't cover. They won the game, but they didn't cover 6 of the 14 games. We've been talking about this all season. It's like 1 or 2, and now it's 6 out of 14 games the favorite didn't cover, which is very, an abnormality for the most part. So
it strikes back.
I know, it's weird. So that didn't help us. Action and I, it's not like we're in counseling or anything, but we need to work through it. We had a couple weeks. Last week is the same thing. We had 2 picks aligned. The Chargers were one, and the Cleveland was the other. And then the other three were completely opposite of each other. And it was like, oh boy, so we went 2-3. We're starting to fall in the standings. We're 5.5 picks out of the money now, which is tough because we were only 1.5 3 weeks ago. So we'll see if I can push a little harder for my picks because I did better than that. But he had a good early part of the season. We'll figure it out. But anyway, out of the games themselves, we had Cleveland. We did pick that game. I think you liked that game too. The Browns did win outright. It was an ugly one, as we expected. 13-10, low-scoring game. But the D came through. Your guy Myles Garrett is the man, and in the end, they just needed that field goal to get there, and they won the game outright.
Oh yeah, he's an alien, and it's a big first win for DTR. I guess we could have put him in Club Dub this week too. So
that's right.
First win for a rookie starter. So shout out to our guy Tommy DeVito. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean we'll see what DTR turns into. Obviously, he's got a mobility factor just like Watson does. So obviously he can extend plays. I'm sure they'll utilize that moving forward. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this team looks like in a couple weeks. I don't know if it's going to hit the fan. How long can that defense hold out? Are they just? I mean, are they going to be the 2000 Ravens where Myles Garrett just carries them all the way to the Super Bowl? Could you imagine? I mean, is there a world that we're living in that's going to happen?
Yeah, the AFC's opened up, which we'll talk about in a minute. I did flip. I was on Detroit. He picked the Bears. We went with the Bears, which that worked out.
My pick of the week, baby.
I mean, the Bears did everything they could to give up that game. They did lose the game. It's one of those examples. They were 8-point dogs on the road. They were up by, 12 points in the fourth quarter or something?
Yeah, 5 minutes to go, I think, or something like that.
And they ended up losing the game. They were down by 3, and then Fields fumbles the ball and it's in the end zone. Thank God the guy kicked it out of the end zone. Otherwise, that wouldn't have been a cover for us. But
Yeah.
31-26 is the final score. As that was a safety, so we did get that win, thank goodness. And is it good that? And this is the funny thing about that game. And I'll argue this. Everybody's on Brock Purdy again as MVP. Just stop that noise, please. But Justin Fields had a very high, almost perfect quarterback rating in this game too. He threw 70% completions, but you dropping the ball late in the game doesn't factor into that. So just don't give me this business about QBR. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, no, it was a perfect case of Eberflusing the game away because when they were up 12, all they did was run the ball, and then they tried to throw these crazy long passes on 3rd and 10 that no one is going to catch, and then they did it in 2 straight drives. And it's like, okay, so it was a perfect Bears loss, honestly. Justin Fields looked good. They look it looks like the guy. It looks like something you could build with. Right. And then it's okay, we're just going to blow this game so we can keep our draft capital, basically.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And all in all, I thought it was a great day for the Bears. They covered. They got a good rehearsal. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for. You
can't ask for anything.
Eberflus is definitely out the door, though. It's a dead.
He's out the door. He's already packing his bags.
Harbaugh incoming? ?
Well, there's been some talk of that. He did visit Chicago. He was on Waddle and Sylvie, which is local AM 1000 for ESPN last week. So you never know.
It's right there by the Red Line, isn't it? Yeah, their studio. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Maybe we can see him on the Red Line one day. That'd be fun. Like, oh my God, you're the hardball guy.
Yay.
He seems like a Red Line kind of guy, doesn't he? I mean,
he's a Red Line guy. Sure, I'm sure he takes the Red Line.
Definitely not a blue line. Yeah, definitely not a blue or orange line, but he's definitely a Red Line.
The khakis can go anywhere they want to go.
Oh.
So the other 3 games weren't so good, Coop. Your Finns, 13.5-point favorites. Look, I was on the Raiders. I talked about it last week. I don't know what it is. It's probably Antonio Pierce, like pumping up the squad. Did they deserve to win this game? No, meaning the Raiders. They gave up, I don't know how many yards, like
426
yards. Somehow Miami only scored 20 points in this game, but AOC, your guy played decent, had chances, but then threw interceptions late. So they lose the game 20-13. Another home winner, but not cover for the favorite. So obviously Miami didn't come in. The Raiders cover this number.
Yeah, no, like to your point, I was gonna say the Dolphins doubled the yardage of the Raiders. Yeah. So the fact that they didn't cover, I think, was almost feels like the wrong side. Like if you were on Miami, it felt like the right side. So but to my point, a couple weeks ago, man, defense is coming around. Jalen Ramsey makes a difference. But I have noticed they definitely have to play at home. If they're going to be a playoff team and actually have a chance to go to the Super Bowl, they have to play at home. Not even because necessarily the weather, but I think to run their offense effectively, they have to be able to communicate and they have to be able to make checks and hear everybody that's going on. And I think in obviously a hostile playoff environment, that's not going to go very well. So I think that's a big key for this team moving forward. But hey, if the defense keeps playing this well, the sky could be the limit. So you never know.
I heard a crazy stat, and I'm not back to the full MVP conversation, but Tyreek Hill has 40% of the first downs on this team. 40%.
Yeah. I was going to look up his MVP odds as you're speaking.
I mean, nobody gives him credit for being an MVP, possibly was a damn quarterback, but that dude is good at football, as they say.
Oh, he's amazing.
We mentioned Brandon Staley earlier, so just to kind of, as I wrote in the notes, the Chargers chargered, and not only did they lose the game and gave up 397 total yards, and I think it was like 27 or 26 first downs to this terrible Packers offense, but they have a chance to win and cover. A beautiful pass, Herbert, last drive, Quentin Johnson.
Show hands.
Loved it. Oh my God. And then they don't even get the first down. The next play, it's 23-20 loss by the Chargers. There you go.
Yeah. It was I can't believe that team. That team is just wild. I just I don't know what else to say other than put that man in the shed, but you already did. So oh, by the way, Tyreek Hill is plus 4,000 for your NFL MVP odds. So
it's a great value. It's just I don't think he's gonna win it. Maybe offensive player of the year.
Oh, I mean, offensive for sure. Let's see. The offensive player of the year, he's plus 110. So he's the odds-on favorite.
Yes.
I still think he can win. Do you know who the leading MVP frontrunner is right now, by the way? Pop quiz.
Well, I don't know, but I'm going to guess. Is it I know who it should be, but is it Jalen Hurts?
It is Jalen Hurts.
There you go.
Nice. Plus 250.
It should
Who
be
who should it be?
it should be our guy Lamar Jackson. He's
Okay.
doing very well. He's getting underrated. Or CJ Stroud. I know that I was late to the party, but he's been
Oh
great.
man.
Do
The
not
one week
talk
you were
about
gone.
me. Not
Yeah,
you.
I think the one week you were gone, he was at 150 to 1. So whatever, plus 150,000 or whatever. So
Yeah. Little cheddar cheese. So okay. That's anyway. A nice game was the Chiefs. We took the Chiefs. I said, hey, I like the Eagles. I like the Chiefs. Why do you like the Chiefs? Well, they did it off the bye. Blah blah blah. This team can't score in the second half, Coop. 3 weeks in a row they haven't scored in the second half. The Chiefs are averaging 5.5 points a game in the second half. That's it. That's it. This team is not the same. Forget about Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, whatever. If the defense wasn't playing at a top five level, I think this team would be 500 or worse. I mean, they can't score. And MVS also drop the game-winning touchdown. He gone. But anyway, Eagles win the game outright, 21-17. I give the Eagles a lot of credit. They didn't look that great in this game, but they got the two big scores in the second half, and they just bottled up, everything. They were running. Chiefs were running the ball on the Eagles in the first half, and then they switched they were zero blitzing the hell out of the Chiefs, and they couldn't make plays.
yeah, no, they just started going man on man and to your point, the Chiefs don't have anybody outside of Travis Kelce. They double and triple covered him. So no, I mean they look interesting to say the least. I mean they have Patrick Mahomes. They have. I guess they have a chance when you have Patrick Mahomes. So,
right.
but no, the big difference to your point was the Eagles cashing in on touchdowns and not kicking field goals in the red zone. So, I think the Chiefs had they had 2 red zone turnovers, I believe.
Well,
I know Travis
Kelce
Kelce had one.
Kelce had the big fumble in the third. I think it was that was a bad one because that was kind of like, okay, we're gonna go in for the score, the kill shot. He fumbles, and I mean, it wasn't like he was a punk. They just punched it right out.
That was a perfect punch. It was perfect. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Practice on the podcast.
Yeah, right. So, but no, I'm worried about them in the long term. To your point, their inability to run the ball too. Just, I mean, because you can't do anything. Like they can't move the football. So it's that throw, by the way, was magical. I don't know if you I watched the replay of him throwing that drop ball like 100 times just because it looks so effortless when Mahomes throws that football, but he throws it
50-yard pass,
5 yards in the air.
Yeah, just beautiful.
Just looks so effortless.
Thank you, MVS. I've got a spot on the former flag football team if you need to go somewhere. So okay, I know that I have all your Beaver Nation picks, but I don't know your final spreads, Coop. So I know that Arizona, you liked Arizona. What was your final spread on that game? Do you remember?
It was 5. It was a push.
Well, you did get a 5. Okay, so you got a push in that one. This was one that I was still on. I'm like, well, I like Houston. I mean, I think they're still better, this team. The total or the spread went down to 4.5 at close. So you got a good number to get the push. Look, Stroud wasn't great in this game, so it hurts his MVP stuff. But this team's still playing well enough to win this particular game. And now they got a chance to beat Jacksonville, and they'll actually be the leader of the AFC South if they win this week. Yeah,
no, and to your point, I think it just shows they're winning because of CJ Stroud, though, not even in spite of him. So I mean, yeah, he had a couple turnovers. I think he threw 2 interceptions or 3 interceptions, but he's keeping them moving. He seems to have a really good short-term memory, and he's a good leader. So it seems to work out well. But it stinks that it was a push because I think Arizona had a chance to kick a field goal late or had a chance to cover there at the end. And of course, I feel like we say it every week too. Like, oh, we had a chance to cover and we just didn't. So we also, I think we had Jacksonville too.
Jacksonville -7.
That was a good one.
Did you miss the ambulance, Coop?
No, just on time. Heck yeah, I knew it was coming. I see. We didn't have one. We haven't had one like 2 or 3 weeks now, I think. So we were due. We were due.
It's the holidays. Trust me, there'll be a lot more now.
But no, Jacksonville was a good pick. We took them. They throttled Tennessee. We had a Calvin Ridley sighting, so that's exciting for our fantasy team.
He's back.
Yeah, we've been pretty bullish on him. We've been standing pretty firm. So that worked out well. We took the Giants. To your point,
I know I talked to him, but
yeah, no, you talked me into him because to your point, 7.5. What do we say in this podcast? We have more than 7-point division opponents. We take them. So to your, we talked about earlier. Sam Howell played well. turned the ball over a little too much, and then DeVito, wins, all that good stuff. And then I did take San Fran. They pummeled Tampa Bay. I know Tampa Bay's been kind of my darling this year, so I knew that it was going to be a tough go. The 49ers are just too physical for the front seven of the Niners just annihilated the Buccaneers. I mean, Chase Young looked like an All-Pro again. So
yeah.
I don't know if you caught any of that game or not, but it was just they were.
All I know is I heard Tampa was in the red zone like 2 or 3 times late to try to get the backdoor cover, and they couldn't get it in. So
no.
I mean, I didn't pick that. I think I picked that game in my contest, but not for the And then the other 2 games that we talked about is like the Rams.
Oh yeah.
I tried to get us to take the Rams.
Our locks were good this week. We had Chicago, LA. The locks were good this week.
It was +1. It was +1 in the contest. And I'm like, that's good. They're going to win. And they ended up winning. Granted, they probably shouldn't have. And this is another situation. Seattle had a real chance late. They're up 13-0 in this game. And then late in the game, they get this big play to Metcalf. They settle for a 55-yard field goal. I mean, what are you doing? Like flubbing the time like he's going to make this 55-yarder, but they end up winning
time too. Yeah, to your point.
Yeah. And then the last one was Minnesota. I know we talked about, I know you put Denver in the club dub. I'm not as supportive as you on that. Minnesota played good. They outplayed them the whole game. They just let them get in there at the end. They hadn't gotten in the end zone until that last drive. It was all field goals for Denver. And then for me, my contest and whatever, I got missed the 2-point conversion, get the cover. I mean, obviously Denver could have done it. That ended Minnesota's 5-game win streak. So those were 2 hot teams playing right there.
No, to your point, it was the battle of the fire squads.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about this week, Thanksgiving week, week 12, kind of a unique week in the formatting of the league. But there's a lot of news that we may or may not have talked about, as we've talked already. Joe Burrow's out for the season. He got hurt on Thursday last week. That as you texted me on Friday morning, there goes our Super Bowl futures. And yes, they are. And they won't even let me cash out my $1.50. It's like, please get me. I mean, I put more money on it, but I'm like, please let me cash this out. I'm out of state. I'm like, they won't let me in the damn app. And now it's down to 0. They're taking my full. It's all good. Pittsburgh fired Matt Canada. Thank God. It's only taken 2 years. Eddie Faulkner steps in, so I'm not sure if that'll make a difference or not. I don't know anything about the guy. But anyway, he gets a shot.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a real good Falcon offense, let me tell you.
New Orleans has got Derek Carr still in the concussion protocol. I don't know what the deal is. It's been a minute. He had a whole bye week to get better. He may miss the game. We'll see. You have to check on that. I guess Jameis would start supposedly. Marshawn Lattimore is questionable. He's key to their team, so we'll talk about that later. Aaron Jones looks like he's out for tomorrow's game for Green Bay. Atlanta, you've got Desmond Ridder in there. That doesn't help my Atlanta handicap, but Heineke's still hurt. For you guys, I mean, I don't know if you have Andrews on your squad. He got hurt. You keep the hip drop. We should talk about that. Are you anti-hip drop tackle?
It's definitely not a good look. I feel like there's better ways to definitely go about it. But I understand it happens so fast too that I don't know if necessarily anybody's trying to do it on purpose.
Yeah. But you can see that play. It was like, oh, that's why that should be outlawed. I'm like, are we going to outlaw tackling now? I mean,
yeah,
I don't think it's great. I understand why they did back in the day when they did the horse collar. What was his name? I think it was Roy Jones or something. It was like a safety for Dallas. He used to literally grab with 2 hands and jump on the guy's back like he was riding a bull, and it would just take the guy down. And he tore 4 ACLs that year. I understood why they got rid of this. This one's you tackle. How are you supposed to not drop your hips? I'm trying to you tackle and then you just turn, or at some point it's impossible not to tackle a guy with getting some injuries. So
yeah. Well, they talked to Harbaugh said that he could be back for the season if they make a playoff run. So
yeah,
maybe Carmel will be on the Ravens side, because they're usually one of the most hurt franchises. Maybe they'll get hurt and all of a sudden they'll start winning. After they get your guy back, we'll see.
Yeah. Big shocker. I know you're shocked at this one, Coop. Joey Bosa is hurt again, doubtful with the foot.
Yeah, he was crying. He was in a lot of pain. Yeah, he was in tears.
Okay. Well,
so I don't know if that means the season's over or what, but
he's doubtful. He'll probably be back. They're not going to. They have to win 3 games to have us pay attention to them again. So But I think this is a big injury for San Francisco. You have the uh, Talanoa Halufanga, not
Yeah,
bad.
nice. There you go. All right.
The safety that people are reminded of, Troy Polamalu. He's out for the season. That's pretty big for San Francisco, I think.
Yeah, that broadcasting school is really paying off, by the way. That was well done.
Thank God it's phonetic. Seattle, Geno Smith he did not practice. I don't think he practiced today. He's kind of on the fence about playing tomorrow night. I think he's going to end up playing, but whether he'll be effective against San Francisco, that's more important. What about the Jets? So who's going to start? Tim Boyle? They finally benched Zach Wilson, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's got to be Boyle because Boyle played in the game, so I'm assuming it's got to be him. But I think either way, they're still gonna have a tough time moving the ball. I don't care who's at quarterback.
I know.
I even think if Aaron Rodgers were back there, I still think they'd have a hard time moving the football. Their offensive line is awful. I mean, they don't block anybody.
I think they said they've had whatever 9 different line combinations this year. It's just bad.
Yeah. So.
And who is going to start? Is Mac Jones or Zappy going to start for New England this week? Do we even know yet?
I would assume Mac Jones. I would still think it's got to be Mac Jones until Belichick's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Or at least until next year, maybe. I don't know. But I don't see why even because it's pretty clear that Bailey Zappi is not Mac Jones, and Mac Jones is not anywhere near what you call a top tier quarterback. So it's going to be. I mean, they've got the draft bowl this weekend, so that's going to be a big game for the draft. So
it is. It's big. It's big.
It's huge, monumental.
Let's go to the lines, Coop. We've got Thanksgiving games. There's 3 of them. First start off 11:30 a.m. Central. It'll be 12:30, I guess, for you. We've got the Packers at Detroit. Detroit's all the way up to 7.5-point favorites, 47-point total. It seems a little bit big, as we've talked about many times. But will the real Jordan Love please stand up? Is he gonna play well? Is he gonna suck? I can't lay the number, but I can't get behind Green Bay either. It's one of these things. I have to pick against the spread in my pool, but this isn't one of my top 5. Let's just put it that way. So it's Detroit or pass.
No, that's fair. And I don't know if you remember, like week 4 when Detroit went up to Green Bay and housed them by 14. So
yeah,
Detroit hasn't been playing well the last couple of weeks, so I would feel comfortable getting behind them because they barely beat the Bears. To your point, they've squeaked the Chargers out, and then they beat the Raiders. I think that was Josh Daniels' last game, if I'm not mistaken.
Josh Daniels.
So, they haven't been playing that well. I think this is the week they get right. I think this is probably the biggest Thanksgiving game since Barry Sanders has probably been in a Lions jersey, I would assume. So
they never
I would feel comfortable. You should feel comfortable taking the Lions this week. I don't see Matt LaFleur or Jordan Love, doing anything crazy or special to pull this one out.
Yeah, with no Jones, I know that other guys are banged up. My guy Reed, the wide receiver rookie, he's been really good, but he got hurt in practice. I don't know if you heard that. That was rough with a chest injury, but he might still play. Okay, let's move on to the Washington-Dallas game. I think I have to update this. Dallas is now up to 12.5-point favorite, buddy.
Yeah.
So it's a runaway train. 48.5-point total. We know Dallas has dominated punk competition. I don't think Washington's punk competition necessarily, but man, I don't know. Can I still back it at 12.5? I guess so. I mean, it's a division rival. We've talked about this. I don't like taking this many points, laying this many points against a division foe, but Dallas is a different animal. I have them in the top 5, but I had them at the top 5 at 11, not 12.5. So I have to make a decision.
Well, the best quarterback they've played in Jerry's world all year this year was Matt Stafford.
Ooh.
So think about it that way. I think this is too big of a number. I think this is finally the week that you can take advantage of the Cowboys being just housing everybody. I think the Cowboys will win the game probably, but I think this is too big. I think 12.5 is too many. I could see 10 maybe. I think 10 would be the biggest number that I could maybe feel comfortable swallowing.
Right.
So, I would get behind Sam Howell. I think that, they've got something to prove. They're still playing, like to your point, they're still frisky. They traded away, half of their starting defensive line, and they had 7 sacks last week.
9.
Or 9, excuse me. Yeah, granted against the Giants, but they're still playing. There's Ron Rivera. Is he even alive on the sidelines? By the way, is he even there?
Is he taking oxygen on the sideline?
That would at least tell me that he's moving. Like, he doesn't do anything. He just stands there. He never even moves. He doesn't talk. Nothing.
He knows he's a dead man walking, so he decides to stand still.
So But yeah, I think this is the week that you can feel comfortable taking a
We're opposite, even though, well, I guess I'm gonna have to stick to my guns. I'm just looking at my numbers. I don't love it because it's floated. Now it's like popular. Like not that it wasn't before, but it's kind of like when Dallas is a 13-point favorite, at home against, whatever crappy team they're playing. Nobody's going to take them in a contest because it's too many points, right? In this case, because it's a standalone, not standalone, but special game, everybody's like, oh, I love the Cowboys. I hate that situation. Well, all the money's on the Cowboys. You can't do it.
Right, yeah, don't do that. Go the other way. Yeah, yeah.
Right now it's 71% of the money's on the Cowboys. I'm like, don't do it. Those are my Cowboys. Don't do it. So anyway, we probably won't take it in a contest because I got to actually communicate with action. You got to put in all the picks. If you take one of the Thursday games, you got to put in the whole for the whole weekend. So it's a little dicey there. Anyway,
gotcha.
Next game, San Francisco at Seattle. It's the night game, 7:20 Central. Seattle's actually, I think, San Francisco is 7.5-point favorite now. It keeps floating up.
I've got it at 7 on my end.
At 7, okay, because I think the contest line has it at 7, but the market right now is 7.5. So,
oh man, heck yeah, go to the market and buy the Seattle Seahawks right now.
Yeah, 7.5. Well, here's the thing, though. These teams haven't played yet this year, and we know that this is still a division that's up for grabs. So it would make sense to take that, especially the home dog, 7.5. Ridgeway's for this game. But so I guess that makes sense. It's a stay away for me because, look, Brock Purdy, I think he stinks. I'm not stinks. He doesn't stink. He's the most overrated average quarterback in the NFL. But, like, 7.5 rival game, I don't know. I just don't like Seattle right now. I just don't like the way they're playing, honestly.
I can't wait for the Jim Wegs podcast when it's titled "Stay Away" by Jim Wegs. Yeah, I can't wait for that to come out.
These are my top 5 stayaways for the week.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I know this is a podcast about picking spreads and stuff. You just stay away every week, man. I'm telling you. But no, I'm with you. I like the 7.5. That 7 number. They really know what they're doing because I think San Fran's going to win the game by a touchdown. So the Coop model has it at 26-20. So that 6 number is frisky. But to your point, if you buy it right now, I would take Seattle at 7.5. I think that's a beautiful number to put your nest egg on, if you will. So
it's a good tease game. Right? Tease the game down to 1.5 for Seattle. Yeah. That's what you do. It's begging you to do that. But I just or you could do Seattle up, I suppose. But I just
we forgot to mention the Lions. They're fast tracking themselves to the 1st seed in the NFC, by the way. So I don't know if you've looked at the remaining schedule for the Lions.
Is there somebody on the podcast that took them to win the NFC?
I have no idea. Was there?
Somebody.
Was there? Oh my God! Somebody with you?
Somebody in Club Dub.
Oh, okay. Nice. Joe Flacco. Damn, we should have put Joe Flacco in Club Dub. Damn it. See, this is what happens when I travel. I just forget everything.
No, I agree with you. They can definitely do it because they have an easy schedule. And the other teams, I mean, the Eagles have a murderer's row schedule. And San Francisco still has to play some tough games in the division. Actually, they still have to play.
They've already got 4 losses, even.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
like San Francisco, done, in my opinion. So, or they have 3 losses. Sorry, they have 3 losses.
3. I was like, slow down a little bit. All right, so they still have to play the Eagles, though, at some point, right? Eagles, San Francisco still play, I believe.
Yeah, I think they play. Let me see here. I got it right. Yeah, they play in 2 weeks. They play at Philly, December 3rd. Yeah. Yeah,
the Eagles have a murderer's row. They play Buffalo, then they play. Yeah. You said 2 weeks. They play Dallas, maybe, and then they play.
They have Bills at home. Niners at home. They go to Dallas. They go to Seattle. They have the Eagles at home, and then they have the Cardinals at home, and then they finish with the Giants. So murderer's row. It's more like a 3 or 4 game stretch, honestly.
Yeah, but they already got
Giants, Chiefs, Eagles, into with the Giants, Cardinals, and Giants again. So.
Right. All right. Well, let's talk about the Friday game. This is your squad. You're not wearing your whatever blue, whatever you call it, candy ass blue or something.
Aqua.
Aqua. What's aqua?
Yeah,
it's aqua.
Candy ass aqua.
It's aqua. It's Friday. It's this Friday special. It's a 2 p.m. Central start, which is kind of weird, middle of the day. Miami at the Jets. 10-point favorites. Is that where that's right? 10, right?
Yeah, ESPN's got it at 9.5, but I've seen 10 everywhere else.
10. It's 10. The contest has it at 9.5. I'm assuming you like your Fins here at the 10, although it's a big number. You know the Jets and that defense, but I would probably take the Jets in the 10. I'm sorry. I know that we're talking about Tim Boyle. He sucks.
Practice.
I get
We're
it.
talking about practice.
This number was like 7.5 or 8. A couple, start open much lower with Zach Wilson. I mean, Zach Wilson is not good, but Tim Boyle, is he that much worse? I don't know. 10 points too much.
I mean, it took them 11 weeks or however long, I guess it took 8 weeks for them to finally actually bench Zach Wilson for him. So he can't be that great, right?
No, I know he
I mean, if
sucks.
this guy was amazing, they would have put him out there right away so they wouldn't look like idiots to save their jobs.
I know,
So,
but 10 points in the Jets, yeah, I don't know. I just think they're going to play better now that Zach's on the bench because the bottom line is Zach sucks. So 10 points at home. I know that Miami can score, but they haven't scored as much lately. The defense is better. I will take the 10 points at home with the Jets. And
is
41.
this the Mike White game? Because last year this was the game that Mike White surprised everybody, and then it was against the Bengals. But yeah, this was like the same scenario as Mike White last year. So that's the only thing that I'm fearful of is that they're going to have somebody have the Mike White week, and this will be the week that they have it. So
That's right.
But outside of that, I don't see why the Dolphins don't win. They know that the Bills are going to Philadelphia here next week, or is that this week? No,
This
that's
week,
next week.
yeah,
Yeah, it's this week. So, and they have a game up on the division already, so they can stretch that to a 2-game lead. This bad boy is going to be over before they know it. So, they're trying. I think in the Dolphins locker room, I think the goal is to make that last game of the season against the Bills meaningless. So, I think this is definitely, a hammer spot for them for sure.
Okay.
I feel good about it. I know they didn't play. They still played well last week. In theory, they should have covered. They got 3. They were +3 in the turnover margin, or they're +2. Beg your pardon. They're +2 in the turnover margin. So I don't think they'll play as poorly as they did last week.
Do you think the Sauce is going to play good against Tyreek?
I mean, probably, but Tyreek's still going to have a good day. I mean, no one can stop Tyreek. That's been pretty apparent.
I just think, I don't know, if the Jets offense was not 29th or 30th or whatever it is, this is the money line game. They can't score. It's so annoying. But I just think that the Jets front is going to get after, good old Tua. But,
they might be able to run they could probably run the ball well too, right? Because Miami has been so against the run. So that might be another concern too. But the Jets offensive line is just so subpar at the same time.
Right. Just so you know, I put this game as a 5-point spread, not a 10-point spread. Just so you know. All right, here we go. Sunday slate, early games. You've got the big NFC South matchup, New Orleans at Atlanta. It's a pick, 42 points total. I'm on Atlanta in this spot. I've been against New Orleans for a lot this season. I know that you've been promoting their offense a lot, with Kamara back, but I just don't buy into that team at all. Atlanta has sucked for the last few weeks, so their market is depressed. They should be a short favorite at home. I get it at pick. I will take it. Atlanta to win outright.
I think this is the both coaches on the hot seat game. I think the loser of this game is probably going to lose their job at the end of the season because I think the winner of this game is probably going to win the division, I would assume. So, I went back and forth. Like, if you're going to tell me a stay away game, this is probably the stay away game because I have no idea. We don't know what quarterback's going to play or anything.
You can be the guest on the stay away.
No, I'm going to ride or die with my Saints. I know I picked them to win the division. I'm going to ride with them. I think they have to win this game. Like I said, I think the winner of this game is going to win a division.
Yeah.
Atlanta's defense, they started out like the first 4 or 5 games of the season, they were like in the top 10, and they've regressed a lot the last couple of weeks, to say the least. So I think that defense is not as good as advertised or as it was early in the year. Michael Thomas is out, so he'd be the number 2 option now, which he's kind of been all season if you watch the Saints play.
Yeah.
And Olave should have a good day against, Jesse Bates and company. So even if it's Jameis, they actually will throw the ball farther than 40 yards, which is cool.
Yeah. He'll throw it across the field a couple times.
He's just going to he's going to complete it to the other team once or twice. But I think the run defense of the Saints will be the difference because that's obviously what the Falcons are going to want to do. So,
I mean, don't underestimate Desmond Ridder here.
Arthur Smith needs to regrow his mustache if they're ever going to win football games again.
Exactly. So you heard it here, Arthur. All right, let's go with Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is a short 1-point favorite on the road. This total's really low, 34.5. This is a spot where I like Cincinnati, man. I know that we've switched we've entered the Faulkner era of this offense, so it could only go up from here. But I think that Pittsburgh's getting a little overrated here. I think Cincinnati, we know Joe Burrow going down is going to hurt them, but they're going to give some spirited effort, right? I mean, look, they could come out and shit the bed here and look like shit. And I don't think Browning's that great of a quarterback, but Cincinnati's still playing for their playoff lives if they can, and Pittsburgh's still in. I know you've got Pittsburgh winning the division in the AFC now, but I'm on Cincinnati plus the 1 at home.
This is your dead cat special. I took your model and ran with it. How is this not the dead cat special?
It's not
It's offensive coordinator. Right. Offensive coordinator edition. You didn't let me finish. I was supposed
That's a dead kitten special.
Okay, well, that's not nearly as. That's tragic. Actually, that's not even. They didn't even get to live. But anyway. No, I went to Steelers this week. For some reason, the Steelers have owned the Bengals in Cincinnati. Like Cincinnati has a better winning percentage when these two teams play in Pittsburgh versus when they actually play in Cincinnati. So, all the way back to the Big Ben era, he dominated Cincinnati in Cincinnati, and they've just kind of done that ever since. My kind of take on this game is: do you think Zach Taylor from the rest of the season is coaching for his job? Like, what if the Bengals do shit the bed? Do you think that? Because a lot of people around Cincinnati and company have kind of mentioned, like, I don't know if this guy can coach. Joe Burrow, covers up a lot. He's so great, blah blah blah. So do you think that Zach Taylor, if they come out and shit the bed, say they win they win 2 out of the next 5 games, and they go 2-6 to finish the season or whatever, do you think that you think he'd be coaching for his job here?
Well, here's what I would say to that question. There's going to be like 5 other guys fired this year, maybe 6. I mean, it's a big firing year in the NFL, I think. So who are you going to replace Zach Taylor with? I mean, you're going to bring Belichick in? Maybe.
Well, you have to trade for him. You couldn't even bring him in. You have to trade for him.
Well, but Bill could get fired, by the way. You never know. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I actually don't think he's that great of a coach, but it's all a matter of who we're going to replace him with. It's not
Lou Anamaruma. I mean, they have the guy in the building that a lot of people believe could be a head coach.
I think he's a great defensive coordinator, but running the squad, I don't know. I don't think he's playing for his job. I'd be surprised. I, in fact, would think if I was the Cincinnati GM, I would actually tank because you have no chance. If you make the playoffs, you're not going to win the Super Bowl. Burrow's not going back. So you have no chance of winning the Super Bowl. There's no point of keeping winning. I mean, I just think they have some prideful guys on the team. So tank, get a better pick, maybe get a better offensive lineman. My God, like the offensive line for Cincinnati has just been a disaster for 2 years with Burrow back there. He covers up a lot of warts, but they still have good skilled players. They probably will lose Higgins in the offseason, but you still got the other guys available. And the defense has been really good. I don't know. I don't think so, but I hear what you're saying. I just don't think so.
Like I said, just a thought.
It's a fair thought. Let's talk about this is the AFC South matchup, the Jacksonville Jags at Houston Texans here. So you've got 1.5 point favorite for the Jags on the road, 48.5 point total. Now we know what happened down in Jacksonville. Houston took them apart. There is a lot of money still coming on the Jags here. I don't really understand it. I look, my numbers have Houston better than them quite a bit, and I should correct that. There's a lot of money on Houston, but the line isn't really dropping that much. It went from 2 to 2.5. 87% of the money is on Houston. So this is one of these situations, even though they're in my top 5 this week. No, they're not in my top 5, but I do like Houston this week. It's fishy. This is a fishy line, Coop. Something's up. Somebody knows about some pregnant girlfriend somewhere or whatever that Stroud's. I'm not trying to talk bad about CJ Stroud, but it's like the movie Casino. I knew what I knew when the girlfriend was on coke and the quarterback's on coke. There's something up because Houston should be favored in this game. I don't understand. They're at home. They're just as good, or if not better than Jacksonville. 1.5 point, and the money's on them, and the line's not moving. Something's up.
Oh, it's pretty big. I mean, I don't want to say big, but it is I would say it's a head coach mismatch, maybe that they're seeing. Sure. I don't know. Is Doug Peterson worth more points than D'Amico Ryans? I don't know. We'll see. But no, I'm riding with the the Jacksonville this week. I think again, this is. I think they're going to win this game by more than 2. I'm with the line. If anything, I'd be willing to give you a touchdown. I think this is where Jacksonville has to start separating themselves because they understand what's in front of them. But no, I think Trevor Lawrence is a better quarterback than CJ Stroud. I think it's going to show. Not to say that CJ Stroud is bad. I just think that Trevor Lawrence is little more seasoned. He's got a little more help around him, I'd say. Definitely a little bit better skill set. And I think the defense will make enough plays that they will. I like the under here, though. This is definitely going to be a low-scoring game. I could see this like, I don't know, 2017, 2014, somewhere in that area. So, yeah, I think it's gonna go kind of the opposite way. I think it's gonna be a Jacksonville cover, but it's gonna hit the under.
I'm glad you read my article on wegspool.com and went exactly opposite of me. So we
I did.
it all alike. So that's okay. And look, I want the Jags to win. I still want them to have the most wins on the season. I want to cash out, whatever it is, $400. But we'll see. They got to show it to me. I know that they beat the Titans last week, but they haven't looked great. They looked good in London, and they had a couple good games post London. But they got house by KC, and then we'll see. Not KC. They got house by San Francisco. We'll see. Houston, they just took them apart last time. I mean, obviously, I'm seared in my brain. I just see this as an over game personally, but
that's right. Well, I can see it as a big letdown. I mean, Houston just came off the biggest win that they've had that was 2 weeks ago. So I mean, they've been riding high for a minute. I just don't see them continuing to.
Yeah, I thought that last week was that sandwich spot, right? They played Arizona between the Bengals and Jacksonville. They were looking ahead to this game, but they still got the cover. All right, so Tampa against Indy. I know this is a super exciting game for you. 2.5-point favorite for Indy at home, 43.5-point total. This is a stinker. I don't even want to a bit, but can you go? I mean, are you really going to back the Minshew Warriors there, or what? What are we doing here?
Oh yeah, we're riding Minshew mania this week. They're coming off the bye. They scored 10 points in Germany, so it can't get any worse than that. And they're playing a Tampa team that just got embarrassed by San Fran. And I think Jacksonville last week was the second team in the last 2 years to win their week, the game that they played after San Francisco. So like the last 2 years, the teams are like whatever 2 and 24 or whatever again, the game after San Francisco. So Jacksonville became the second team last week to win after playing San Fran. So the Buccaneers just got done with San Fran, out in San Fran. They're playing in Indy again, so they're on the road again, which is never fun. Yeah. Mike Evans might have a big day, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to beat the Colts. I don't see it. This is going to be one of those crazy ass games to where it's either going to be 13-10 or it's going to be like 45-43, and it's going to be
that Cleveland game that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, literally, it's going to be or the Buccaneers, Texans game a couple weeks ago. This has got that game written all over it. So I would take the over here. Just because why not? Let's root for some crazy stuff to happen.
Why cheer for no point?
Let's get weird, They're gonna and I quote, show it to me as quoted by Jim Wegs. So
show it.
Yeah, show them to me.
Can I interest you in another humdinger? You called it the draft game. The New England at the Giants, or is it the other way around? Did I put that wrong? Who's playing? Who's at home in this game?
It's at the Giants. It's at New York.
Okay. New England at the Giants. Tommy DeVito comes home. He gets to sleep in mom's bed. Well, I mean, not mom's bed, but mom's house. New England's a 3-point favorite on the road, 33.5-point total. They couldn't get any lower than this one. God, I hate this game too. Obviously, I can't back DeVito. I hate New England this year. They're the worst. This is just I'm going to move on to the next game kind of game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Which run game is going to show up, I would say, is probably the winner of this game. I would say that the Patriots have more reason to tank because they don't have the quarterback in the building, where the Giants just paid $40 million for a guy to stay in the building. So maybe from that perspective, they have a little less motivation to tank or a little more motivation to tank, if you will. But yeah, no, this is going to be a snooze fest. I mean, this is going to be, I feel bad for people that don't have red zone and that live in New York because they're just going to struggle with the Giants game. They can't watch anything else. So, yeah, shout out to those people. We hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving because that's the only day you're probably going to get to enjoy this week. So.
After you watch the Jets lose on Friday, you can watch this great game.
Yes. God.
I mean, New England are past here. I just can't. I'd rather not watch this game ever.
Yeah, gag me with a wooden spoon. Yeah, exactly.
How about this one? This closes out the early games. Carolina, Tennessee, 3.5-point favorites for Tennessee, 37-point total. What the hell? Tennessee's laying 3.5 against anybody? This team's not good. They're not good. Carolina sucks. They're the second worst team in the league. I get it. But come on, man. Like both these teams, God, we're getting some terrible matchups here. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
But Jimmy Weggs makes this game about 3. But I'd take the hook in this one. I reluctantly, but 3.5 plus 3.5, I'll take it.
No, I like the shade of blue better for the Panthers
Oh.
as well. I think it's going to mesh a little better. Yeah, no, I'm playing the hook. That's the only reason why I'm picking this game. Other than that, it's going to be. Are we going to get a Derrick Henry sighting ever this year? Is he going to have any game that
Can
he
we
runs?
just let Tajay Spears play then? I got him on my team.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. Yeah. So that's the only thing I can see happening. Maybe is Derrick Henry goes crazy one last time before they put the Clydesdale in the barn. I don't know.
Yeah.
But are the Panthers going to win another game this season? I mean, they do play arguably in the worst division, so they might beat the Buccaneers again or something. But
I don't know. It's rough. I did think they were better than this. I mean, that's another guy, Frank Wright, probably a one and done guy. I mean, that's just rough.
He? I was going to say, do you think
Everybody
David Tepper's? Yeah, I was going to say, well, yeah.
Well, the thing is the owner is the one that wanted to take Bryce Young instead of CJ Stroud. So whatever. Yeah. Let's go to the late games, Coop. Maybe some better games, hopefully. We've got start off with the Rams at Arizona. This game's a pick, 44.5-point total. Look, I know you love Kyler Murray. You're like, I'm surprised I'm wearing his jersey today. But I'm on the Rams, dude. I don't understand. As a pick, I mean, Arizona, maybe they've shown some more life, frisky as you will, when Kyler came back. But I don't think this team's that good. And the Rams, they're not great either, but I think they're going to win this game outright. Pick. I'm glad that they aren't laying any points here for sure, but in the contest, it's still a pick, so I'm going to take the Rams.
And I'm against you here. I'm right with.
Of course, you are. You love Kyler Murray. You have this.
Well, he's 1-0-1 ATS since he's came back from ACL surgery. So, how can you not play the hot hand here? I mean, come on. I'm taking a book right out of the Jim Weggs book. I'm taking a page right out of it. Come on, we got to ride the hot hand here, Coach. So,
sure.
No, I think the mobility again of Kyler Murray is going to be the difference in this game. Arizona's defense is actually much better than the Rams, in my opinion. I mean, the Rams have Aaron Donald, but Isaiah Simmons does a really good job of covering Kyren Williams, who was supposed to come back from IR this week.
Right.
But I guess the Cardinals, their Achilles heel is their run defense. So if Kyren Williams, does get going, that could kind of build your theory. But I think Kyler Murray makes one or two plays at the end here, and I think they come away with the win.
Okay, we'll see. Look at this. You've got plenty of picks to choose from this week in your Beaver Nation. There's like 6 of them that we differ. How about Cleveland at Denver? This is 2.5-point favorite. Actually, I think it might have gone down.
It's down to 1.5 now.
Yeah, so that one I don't like as much, but it was 2.5. Now it's down to 1.5 because you know what? People are smart. They're betting Cleveland. At Denver, Denver's had this roll. Oh, they've won 4 games in a row. You put them in the club dub and everything. I think they're kind of pretenders. I know that they're playing better. I'm happy they're playing better. It was surprising to me. I picked them to be much better on this season. But Cleveland's defense, we all know about this. I want to keep repeating it. They're awesome. So unless DTR turns the ball over 6 times, Denver's really benefited from turnovers. I mean, that's what they've had. Like, I think it's 4 games in a row. They've had 3 turnovers or more, or differential +3. So I just can't see that continuing. You're giving me – I like 2.5 a lot better than 1.5, but I will put Cleveland in this, take the +1.5 and get another win for Cleveland.
No, I think the Broncos are going to continue to ride, man. I do. They're at home. They're cooking, man. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Don't get me wrong. This is going to be an ugly game. This is going to be really ugly. Another great color matchup, by the way. These two teams always get together. It's always a great color matchup. But no, I'm riding with the Broncos. I think he's cooking. Russ is going to continue to cook. I think they're going to run the ball well. There's a huge coaching mismatch in this game that no one is paying attention to. I mean, I like Kevin Stefanski, don't get me wrong, but he is not Sean Payton. And I think that's going to be a big difference. I think this is the coaching mismatch. So
I think they're going to run on Cleveland?
Yeah, I think they'll be I don't know if they're going to run the ball, but they've got a big quarterback advantage. They've got a big head coach advantage, and they're playing, like I said, at home. I'll take it. I think they can win by a field goal for sure.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There's another one you can chalk
Russ can still run. Yeah, Russ can still move around. I mean, Baltimore gave this team fits. So, I mean, obviously there's no Lamar Jackson out there, but if he's mobile enough, Joe Burrow has given them fits before. Other mobile quarterbacks have kind of given
Dobbs is moderately mobile last week. I mean, they should have won the game. I mean, they dominated the game. They just turned the ball over. I mean, what's his name? Madison doesn't fumble that ball, they go up by like 2 scores. That game's over, you know? And Minnesota's defense isn't as good as Cleveland's. So that's why I'm a little surprised, especially when it came out at 2.5. I'm like, are we saying that Minnesota is actually, better or the same as Cleveland? No. So now the market corrected it. 1.5 is proper because Cleveland's a better team. But all right, so Chiefs against the Raiders. This is down to 8.5, 9 somewhere in the market. 43-point total. This is a line I don't understand. Explain me why the Chiefs are favored by over anybody by 9 points. This defense is good. I get that. Their offense can't score. So, and the Raiders have scored under 20, like kept games under 20 most of the year. So I'm all over the Raiders. This is the the Coop lock of the week. I'm all over the Raiders plus. It's 8.5 in the contest. I loved it plus 9 better, but 8.5.
I would say the biggest reason probably why is just because the Chiefs cannot play any worse than what they did on Monday night in the second half. So maybe and Andy Reid coming off a bye, you would expect a lot more. To your point, I know you said that earlier, but you would expect a lot more from his side of the ball when it comes to that. But again, I'm against you. I'm going to ride with the Chiefs, man. They got to keep pace. If this team doesn't play at Arrowhead in the playoffs, I think they're going to obviously. And I always forget this stat. I don't know if you recognize it either, but Patrick Mahomes has never played an AFC Championship game outside of Arrowhead. I don't know if you've ever realized that.
I know that. I've been watching football. He's never played outside of Arrowhead. This is the first year it's going to happen, and this is the first year they're going to lose. I mean, I'm gonna break this to you. Chiefs aren't going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just putting it to you. Sorry. I know I'm crushing your spirit, but they're not going to win the Super Bowl. They can't win the Super Bowl with these wide receivers. There's no way. There's no way, and they don't run the ball enough to do it.
Wegs, if the Super Bowl was won on wide receiver play, the Dolphins would be a lock. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, but
the Super Bowl winning or losing comes down to the quarterback play, which they have the best quarterback in the league.
Leads the league in drops, dude. They had more drops in the first 10 games of the season than they did all last year. This team stinks. Take Kelsey off this team, they won't even get a first down. I don't understand it. Like, they're not going to win games 9-0 in the playoffs. They may get to the Super Bowl. And this is where I'm backing out. I mean, I don't want Brock Purdy to win a Super Bowl. Everything's going to be the greatest ever. San Francisco's going to beat this team. We already know that the Eagles can beat this team. I mean, hell, I think Dallas can beat this goddamn team. And there's like 3 teams Detroit beat them this year. There's 4 teams in the NFC that can beat this team. I mean, I don't think Baltimore is not going to lose. They're going to beat this team this year. I like Patrick Mahomes. He's my guy. He's my home ace. But come on, dude. They're not good. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to win the game, but that's too many points.
I think this is the bounce back. I mean, the Chiefs are probably the most pissed off team in the league right now too. They can't play any worse. They had to be motivated. Like, to your point, they lead the league in drops. So that just tells me that if somebody could just hang on to the damn ball, they would be a quote unquote good football team according to the Wegs Power Index. So I don't think you should sell your KC stock just yet. It sounds like you did, so I'll buy it all up. I hate the Chiefs as much as the next guy, but I think I'd be ignorant to sell stock on the best quarterback.
It's really sad when you have defense that is playing at an elite level, and your offense can't do it. I mean, I've lived through it my whole life with the Bears. I mean, sure, with your Cleveland fan number, whatever. Cincinnati might be different, but like, come on, dude. Like, it's hard to watch this team. I'm like, oh my God, remember when they were so great on offense?
Could you imagine if they had Tyreek Hill on that offense? Could you imagine how good they'd? Oh, wait.
Let him go.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, we're opposite again. That's fine. You take the Chiefs. I'll take the Raiders. We'll talk next week. It's fine.
Yeah.
How about Buffalo at Philly? This game is actually Philly. Is it 3 still? Yeah, it's 3.
3.5.
Is it 3.5
on my end.
Oh, and you're seeing 3.5. I'm seeing 3. It is 3.5 at circa. I hate the hook, but I'll put 3.5 in here. I still think the Eagles are better. I wrote in the article that I think the Eagles are going to win this game outright, and they're going to beat up on the poor Bills that have to win. I get it. You're going to ask me, who needs to win better, or who needs to win more, or who needs to lose? Look, the Eagles are going to start losing games at some point because they're not a one. They really should have lost 3 games this year at least, but this isn't the game. The Buffalo Bills defense is not good. They're not good. 3.5. I hate that line, but I'll take it. Come on, you got this, Jalen Hurts. Cover this 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I think it's AJ Brown the Bills are going to have to worry about. I think that's going to be the big difference in the game. Is going to be AJ Brown. Just be
8 yards
banged up
left.
secondary. He's going to have a big game, I think, for the Eagles to win. With that being said, I'm taking the Bills. I'm going to take the Bills. Give me the 3.5. Give me the hook. I think they're going to win the game outright. I don't think it's even going to
Wow,
matter.
really?
I would go Bills money line. I think right now is when you have to buy in on the Bills. If they're going to win, it's going to be now, and they're going to ride it the rest of the season if they're going to win this game. So I'm right. I'm with the Bills. I think Josh Allen's going to make a play. I think that the Eagles are coming off that big emotional win in Kansas City. Great. I don't think they're going to sleepwalk, but it's a quick turnaround. There's been a lot of negativity in Buffalo. A lot of that can go away if they go to the Eagles and beat them. A lot of that negative noise will go away for Buffalo. All the Stephon Diggs talk, all that stuff will go away for a minute if they beat the Eagles. And I think the Bills have really focused on that. I think they've heard a lot of the noise and they need to internalize it. And I think it's going to help focus this team, and they're going to play probably their best game of the season, I hope. So
what's Buffalo's Achilles heel on defense?
Well, everything right now. They can't stop anybody.
But what happened when the Bengals beat them last year in the playoffs? They just pummeled them on the ground. That's what the Eagles are going to do. It's going to run it down their throat, and they're going to throw deep to A.J. Brown. I mean, look, 3.5 sucks, but anyway, we'll see what happens. We've got like 8 games that we're opposite. I like this. This is better.
This is fun, isn't it?
Football. What about Baltimore at the Chargers? 3.5 points, favorites on the road, 47-point total. This is the worst.
Do you want to do it on 3? Yeah, do you want to do it on 3? You just want to reveal our picks on 3? You just want to do 1, 2, 3? No, I'm just kidding.
I know you're taking the Chargers, so it's fine. I mean, I back the Chargers. There's no way I could back the Chargers, so it's Baltimore pass, but I'm not going to touch this game at all.
No, you don't like it? See, I like the Ravens here, and there's a couple different reasons why. So
better?
No, the biggest one, I think the biggest one is going to be Joey Bosa not being there. When Joey Bosa doesn't play on this Chargers defense, their run defense is atrocious. So Keaton Mitchell's going to have a big day. Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, everybody that plays running back for the Ravens is probably going to have a good day, including Lamar Jackson. So I think this, and to your point, Staley at the podium, I think there's a lot of pressure, and I don't think he's dealing with it very well. And I think when you don't handle pressure well, you can really lose the locker room. And I think some of the guys are really starting to pick up on that. And I think that's going to be a big issue. And it's probably eventually going to come to head. And I think this is probably the most talented team they've played all year. And the Ravens are going to separate themselves. This is the spot where, Joe Burrow just got hurt. There's a lot of, basically their biggest competition just lost their best player. So I think this is the time where they take advantage. I like the Ravens here. They're probably going to wear black. At least I hope they do. Well, no, they're not. They're not at home. They're not going to wear black. Never mind. Strike that from the record.
Look, I like Baltimore in the game. I just don't like the hook. But I think the Chargers are a much better team when they're the dog. It's just simple. They never play well as a favorite, and they're at home. I think it's very likely that the Chargers. I talked about this after the Minnesota game when they shouldn't have won. They should give up on the season. This game's over. The season's over, bro. I mean, they can win out and make the playoffs, no question. It could start here, but I don't trust that team at all. So, yeah, Baltimore's right side for sure. Just hate the hook. Can I introduce you in the last hook of the week?
Yeah, actually you can.
You've got the Bears at the mighty Vikings, 3.5-point favorites at home for Minnesota, 43-point total. Let me start again. I hate hooks with division games. This is over and over and over again. Minnesota's a better team, no question. I'm all about Minnesota. They're going to make the playoffs.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. There's no question.
Oh.
Look at the NFC. It sucks.
Oh, okay.
Who's going to make the playoffs in the NFC? Simple, right?
Vikings.
Detroit, the Eagles, San Francisco, somebody from the AFC or NFC South. Obviously, you're going to get Dallas in there. There's 2 more teams. Seattle, Seattle. One other team. Who was the other team? It's not going to be the Giants. It's not going to be Washington. They stink. It's not going to be the Bears. It's not going to be Green Bay. You like the Saints and Falcons, I guess.
I'd rather pick the Falcons than the Vikings, I think. Even though they just played not that long ago and the Vikings won.
Did the Vikings beat them? Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was the miracle game, right?
That's the Dobbs special. So I just think that the Vikings, the underrated part of the team that they were talking about it the other night. Brian Flores has changed his defense. He does crazy defenses. I kept seeing it. I'm like, what the hell is he doing? But it did keep the Broncos out of the end zone multiple times. I don't think the personnel is great, but look, 3.5 can't do it with Minnesota. I mean, I think Minnesota will win the game. 3.5, God, it makes me feel squeamish. It just opens the back door cover. So it's not necessarily a stay away game per se. Gun to my head, I would take the Bears here, but I think if I know most of my buddies don't listen to this, I'm taking Minnesota because everybody on the goddamn pool takes the Bears every week. It's hilarious. So I just miss it every time.
I'm with you. I love the hook here. I like the Bears again. The one thing I really thought about too is that the Bears defense, I think, will be almost the most equipped defense to handle Josh Dobbs just because they play against Justin Fields every day in practice. And I think that Josh Dobbs might be, I don't know if he's the poor man version or the rich man version of Justin Fields. Only time will tell. But
he's the smarter version of Dobbs.
Yeah, well, I'll give you that. He's definitely the more educated version.
Right.
Or the smarter version of Justin Fields. But I think that plays in the Bears' hands. They probably do lose the game, but I think they are going to cover. Just because there's no reason for Chicago to win at this point.
Right.
But no, I'm with you. I'm with the hook. I hate the hook here. I loved the Bears last week. I like them again this week.
And are you becoming a Chicago Bears fan?
Yeah, maybe. I might. Justin Fields. We were hanging out down in his apartment down there, and where he lives, and having a good time. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I think the Bears do cover this week. I hope it doesn't get ugly because we're going to look like complete jackasses on this podcast. So, but that wouldn't be anything out of the ordinary. So,
well, I will say last year it was a different team when Minnesota was, winning all these games by one score. The Bears weren't very good, but they really should have won the game and turned it. It was a freak turnover late that allowed Minnesota to win the game. And I think the Bears might have covered that number. But I just, these teams aren't that far off from each other, even though Minnesota's been winning more. I like their scheme better. And Dobbs, he threw a lot of balls last week that should have been picked. No question. He did have some picks, or had a pick, but he's not throwing great balls. He still doesn't know the offense 100%. So I think what's going to happen is very similar to last week. The Bears are probably leading at the half or playing a really good first half. So bet them on the first half. Second half, Minnesota will come back, win by a field goal, don't cut.
Mark my words. There will be a TJ within the first 15 plays in Minnesota. There will be a TJ Hawkinson in breaking route over the middle. They love the. I swear to God, every Vikings game I've watched since he's been there, since Josh Dobbs has been playing, they run that play like at least 3 times a game, and it should have been picked off twice last week. And I was like, oh my God, they ran that same exact play, right? And he threw the exact same spot. And it's just like, man, I don't. Maybe he learned the playbook so well because it's only 5 pages. I don't know. Maybe there's some catalyst.
Well, I mean, you can't blame him. He's their best receiver right now. I mean, Addison's been okay for the first few weeks, but he hasn't gotten the ball. I don't know what's going on with Justin Jefferson. They're gonna. I guess
he doesn't want to play. Yeah.
They have a bye week next week, but here's the thing: they have a good chance to make the playoffs. I mean, I know they're gonna force them to come back early, but
he knows they're not gonna make the playoffs. Wags. He knows.
They knows. They're going to make the playoffs, man.
He knows they're not going to make the playoffs.
They will make the playoffs. And then he'll still be watching there with those cool, gigantic sunglasses on the sideline. Anyway, let's go over my top 5.
We're going to rule out the Cardinals from the playoffs so soon.
Oh, my God. I actually did say they were a playoff team early in the year. I know. You're Kyler Murray. Okay, it's my top 5. Dallas minus the 12, even though it's 12.5 now in the market. The Raiders plus 8.5 against the Chiefs. I like the Atlanta with the pick, the Rams with the pick, and Cleveland plus 1.5. I know you're against all those picks, which is great. So then I've
got Arizona with the pick. I've got Pittsburgh -1. I've got Indy -2.5, and I've got Chicago at plus 3.5.
You have an opportunity to switch that since you went against me in every single pick, but good job. Well, hey, Coop, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. I'm glad you're back home. I get to go to Mom's tomorrow in the rental car, and it'll be fun. And then, I'm going to take it easy most of the weekend. Have a couple dates, just a couple. Might as well use the time effectively. And then, I don't know, no turkey bowl for me. You guys play turkey bowl before the big dinner?
I have no idea. That's a great question. Probably not. I would say I don't know if we got enough people to play turkey bowl, to be honest. But we'll be bowling tomorrow.
My hamstring completely torn, not all the way across, but partially torn in the final play of the turkey bowl. So that doesn't happen anytime for me.
Damn. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're on the IR, eh? Yeah, just
It took me a minute to get back, but I did get back. Yeah.
oh, good to hear. Thank God. I don't know where this podcast would be without you. So, yeah, all the listeners would have no one to camaraderie with during the week. But
Right.
no, just to your point, we'll be back Friday, so we'll be doing probably Hamlin Saturday morning.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to. Oh, there's a bowling tournament tomorrow, so hopefully we make some money doing that, and we'll
The
go from
turkey
there.
bowl, if you will.
Yeah, a little turkey bowl. So
Yeah, I'm actually
but,
playing at Progression for the first time on Saturday. Hit the
nice.
sand for the first time in about 7 weeks. So
Well, they play on Sundays. You should join them sometime. I think there's like a group of 4 of them that go out there. I think Callie and Amy and a couple others. So.
it's girls only, bro. It's
Oh,
girls.
is it? Okay. Well, I don't ask who go. I just shoot
I've
from
gotten
her
asked
name.
sometimes. I haven't been asked yet this year. I will start going out there occasionally. Somebody asked me to play at Downers on Sunday. I was in KC, and that was at the time before I knew my window was broken. But I get to play the weekends here and there. I'll get back into shape. I'm my nice rotund self, but I'll get back there. So
Yeah, we're gonna start running together. We're gonna start like running to each other's
right,
places.
do some training videos like getting strong. All right, buddy. Well, follow us at Side Action Pod on Twitter and Side Action Podcast on Instagram. Follow me at Wegspool on Twitter and on Instagram.
And you can check me out on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on Twitter at Mr. Grumpy Gills. We are the Side Action Podcast. Allow us to be the first to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. We'll be the last ones to wish you happy Thanksgiving next week. So look forward to that as well.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care.